What if I told you that the people who once left you hurting are now hurting from the very choices they made? What if the pain they caused wasn't just something random, but a reflection, a mirror sent back to them from the universe? Libra, you've carried so much. You've held the weight of being fair. You've tried to bring peace even when your heart was aching. You wanted balance, even when things felt one-sided. But now, something is shifting. Karma has a way of returning things to where they belong. Not out of hate, not for revenge, but to restore balance. And balance is what you were born under. You are the sign of the scales. This is not about watching anyone suffer. It's not about hoping for their fall. This is about letting go of the pain they gave you and finally seeing what was growing inside you all along: strength, wisdom, freedom. Because this is your time to rise. Not with noise, not with anger, but with peace, with clarity. Stay with me. Because by the time this message ends, something inside you will feel different. Not heavy, not broken, but free, and ready to rise even higher. The stillness before the storm. There was a time when everything around you felt silent, but inside, your heart was screaming. You were quiet, but not because you had nothing to say. You were silent because the pain was too deep, because you were trying to understand, trying to hold on, trying to stay kind in a world that wasn't kind back. You wondered if being soft made you weak. You questioned if loving too much meant you didn't love yourself enough. You doubted your worth because others didn't treat you like you mattered. But Libra, that quiet period wasn't a punishment. It was the universe slowing everything down, so you could see what was real, so you could separate what hurt you from what could grow you. That silence was sacred, because in that stillness, something powerful was building behind the scenes. Not to harm, but to set things right. Those who lied to you, those who left when you needed them the most, they didn't get away with it. They just walked deeper into their own lessons. They didn't escape the consequences. They walked straight into them. You see, when someone wounds a heart that was only trying to love, they don't walk away clean. They carry that weight in ways they can't even explain. And while they step into their own storm, you're stepping out of it. Because the storm was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you. And now, everything is shifting. When karma whispers, you won't always see their world fall apart. You won't always hear the cries, the regrets, or the heavy truth they now live with. Karma doesn't always make a scene. It doesn't always come loudly or in public. Sometimes karma arrives quietly, like a shadow that never leaves. You'll feel it in the sudden distance they create, in the silence that grows where there used to be noise, in the way they avoid you, not because they don't care, but because they can't face what they've done. There are no messages saying, "I'm sorry," no confessions that tell the full truth, but something is unsettled around them, like a wind that circles and won't let go. Karma doesn't shout to be noticed. It doesn't knock on doors and demand answers. It moves slowly, softly. It speaks in whispers only the soul can hear. And when it does, it bends time. It brings back what was sent out, just not always when expected. And while they are feeling the pressure of their own actions, while their minds repeat the choices they thought they buried, you, Libra, are not being asked to watch them fall. You are not being invited to sit in their chaos. You are being called to rise above it, to step out of the mess that was never yours to clean, to leave behind the storm that was never meant for your spirit. This moment isn't about looking back. It's about moving forward, lighter, stronger, clearer. You were never meant to stay stuck in the pain. You were meant to heal, and to walk out with your head high and your heart even higher. Your balance is sacred. Balance has always lived inside you, Libra. It's the quiet voice that tells you when something isn't right. It's the part of you that tries to make peace even when everything feels like it's falling apart. You carry harmony in your soul, naturally, deeply. But having balance doesn't mean you have to accept being mistreated. It doesn't mean you should keep giving when others only take. Real balance is not about sacrificing your own well-being to keep others comfortable. It's about protecting your peace, even when that means choosing to stand alone. There were times when people saw your kindness as something they could use. They took more than they gave. They expected you to keep showing up, even when they stopped valuing your presence. And maybe you stayed longer than you should have. Maybe you kept giving them the benefit of the doubt. Because your heart wanted to believe the best, but the universe was watching, not to punish anyone, but to make things right. The scale never tips forever. It always returns to balance. And now, Libra, your heart, the part of you that was stretched too thin, is finally being restored. Not because those people changed, not because they finally opened their eyes to who you are, but because you did. You've begun to see your own worth. You've started choosing yourself. And that's where healing begins. Your heart is not a place for war. It's not meant to carry everyone else's pain while yours is ignored. It is a sanctuary, a safe space, a sacred space. And now, slowly but surely, it is being rebuilt. With more care, with more truth, with more love, your love for yourself. This chapter in your life isn't about proving anything. It's about protecting your light. It's about learning that the peace you give to others, you also deserve for yourself. The rise was always written, Libra. Your rise is not a surprise. It's not a mistake. It's not something happening by accident. Your rise was always written in your journey. It was part of the plan, long before the pain, long before the confusion, long before the hurt. Everything that fell apart in your life, every friendship that faded, every love that left you empty, every door that shut in your face, it wasn't the end. It was making space. It was clearing the weight you didn't need so you could move forward more freely. You may have felt abandoned. You may have asked, why me? But what looked like rejection was really redirection. You weren't being pushed out. You were being guided to something greater, something cleaner, something made just for you. And now in front of you is a new path, a glowing staircase rising towards something that finally feels right. It's not smooth. It's not without challenge, but it's yours. This path doesn't ask you to be perfect. It only asks you to be honest, to walk in your truth. You don't need people clapping for you. You don't need everyone to see your growth. You don't need to prove your worth to those who couldn't recognize it, because your truth, the real you, has always been more than what they could handle. And now, finally, you're starting to see it too. This rise is not loud, it's not rushed, it's steady, it's sacred. And it's only just beginning. They look back, but you look forward. Now they feel the quiet that once surrounded you. Now they sit in the same emptiness they left you in, not realizing until too late how loud silence can become. They think back on the way you loved, the way you stayed, the way you gave, even when it hurt you. And for the first time, they understand. Your love wasn't ordinary. It was rare. It was deep. It was real. But you, Libra, have changed. You've grown stronger in the silence. You've learned how to let go, even without the answers you once prayed for. You've stopped needing apologies to heal. You've stopped waiting for people to return with the truth. You no longer step into spaces where your soul feels unsafe. You've stopped shrinking just to keep others comfortable. You don't chase what doesn't bring you peace. And that is your quiet power. You are not rising to prove anything. You are not becoming more just to be seen. You are rising because you were never meant to stay hidden. You've outgrown the shadows they left you in. Let them turn around. Let them remember. Let them wish things were different. But you look forward, because what's ahead of you is brighter than anything behind you. And now, you're finally free to walk toward it. Rising without resentment. This isn't about getting even. It's not about wishing harm on those who hurt you. It's not about hoping they feel the pain you once carried. This is about something deeper. This is about healing. True healing is quiet. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't need a stage. It simply lets go. You've already done the hard part. You showed up with love when others didn't. You gave forgiveness even when it was never asked for. You waited, hoping things would make sense one day. But now it's time. Time to stop waiting. Time to stop looking back. Time to rise. Not with anger in your heart, not with bitterness in your hands, but with peace in your steps. Because when someone falls from the weight of their own choices, it is not your job to catch them. You are not responsible for their lessons. You are free now, free to move forward, free to grow without guilt, free to rise without resentment. Your journey is no longer tangled in pain or what-ifs. It is braided with grace, woven with every lesson, every tear, every quiet moment that made you stronger. And if you ever question why you had to walk this path, if you ever wonder why the struggle felt so heavy at times, Let this truth settle in your soul. You were never breaking, you were becoming. If this message touched your heart, take a moment to subscribe and stay connected. You're not alone. Your healing, your growth, your rise, it matters, and it's only just beginning.